Ladies, you're going to miss out on the best parts of your life if you do not learn this one thing. Trust me. Control your emotions, okay? And this involves your personal life and your business. In anything you do, one thing you must learn how to do is control your emotions. Trust me, okay? You do not want to be known as the young lady who's always going off, who's always losing her temper, who's always cursing someone out, right? You want to be known as the one who makes logical decisions, someone who can handle their emotions and process it, okay? So always remember, if you cannot control it, you do not react to it. Trust me.
Let's talk about emotional intelligence and conflict. A person who has low emotional intelligence is typically unreceptive, resistant, stubborn, hard to please, hypercritical, intolerant, passive-aggressive, aggressive, sensitive, highly reactive. And in conflict, these people typically have a hard time to actually regulate their emotions. They allow their emotions to dictate their behaviors because of their high emotional arousal, because of their high reactivity, because of their sensitivity. Two key elements when it comes to emotional intelligence is managing your emotions and managing the emotions of other people. And before you come in and say that's not your responsibility and start loosely using the word accountability, let me help you understand that managing another person's emotions is basically you understanding the influence that you have on their emotional process. If you're a highly reactive person and you go for the attack, they may end up attacking you back, or they may end up withdrawing. What happens when you have not learned to actually manage your emotions and regulate your emotions is that you are easily emotionally aroused. Let's just say that your anger is like a 7, 8, 9, or 10. When you're highly emotionally aroused, this is what happens to your cognitive abilities. What are cognitive abilities? Logic, reasoning, rationalization. So your cognitive abilities decline, and that makes it harder for you to actually see this other person and realize how you're impacting this other person. Understanding that what I am doing, how I am reacting to this situation, how I am showing up in this conflict is the reason why I am getting the response that I am receiving from them. This is the reason why you have to have a healthy proximity when it comes to your emotions, and emotional regulation is so important. You have to learn how to gauge your emotions and be able to sit in your emotions, because your emotions are always signaling something to you. They're giving you some type of feedback. You have to be willing to listen to your emotions, process your emotions, cope with your emotions. So that way you can find a way to bring your emotional arousal down, because if you bring your emotional arousal down, then your cognitive abilities start to increase. And that means that now I can be logical. Now I can be reasonable. Now I can rationalize the situation, which makes it easier in conflict for you to say, you know what? Let me look past this emotion that this person is displaying right now, because maybe they haven't learned how to regulate and cope with their own emotions. Or maybe I influence this. So let me look past this. Let me let them get this out. And then let me find a way to de-escalate and diffuse this situation. If you really want to manage your relationship in a healthy, constructive manner, you have to find a way to build on your emotional intelligence. Be more tolerant, more understanding, more considerate, have more empathy. The list goes on. Hope that helps you all today. Happy healthy relationships, y'all. Bye, babies.
Hey ladies, welcome or welcome back. I'm Tiffany Celeste, and I create content on this channel to help you become your best self by leveling up your mental health, prioritizing your self-care, evaluating your relationships, and creating a lifestyle of ease. So if any of that resonates with you, make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn on your notifications, and like the video. So today, I want to bring awareness to something we don't always think about, but it's a skill that can help elevate every aspect of your life, and that is emotional intelligence. So you may be asking, what is emotional intelligence, or EQ as some people call it? Emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage your own emotions while being aware of and influencing the emotions of others. In my opinion, everyone on the planet should be cultivating this skill, but I want to say this for the Black women especially that are listening. Emotional intelligence is a skill that we definitely need to hone in on, because the minute our voices goes up an octave, or the minute we try to defend ourselves, we get labeled the angry Black woman. And as you have probably experienced already, The world often expects Black women to carry burdens, smile through struggles, and remain strong and silent. And that's where emotional intelligence comes into play so that we can navigate our challenging emotions without becoming unhinged and losing our credibility. We live in a society that doesn't always offer Black women the same grace it offers others. Sometimes we're stereotyped as angry, too emotional, or too strong. And I know that duality can be exhausting. I've experienced this too, and it can be really annoying. But I can say that exercising my emotional intelligence muscles have given me the tools to pause, assess, and decide how I want to respond and not just react. And also in my relationships, emotional intelligence has allowed me to discern between someone who respects me and someone who might be trying to manipulate me. And cultivating this skill, I know, can help you too. So emotional intelligence can help you at work as well. It gives you the tools to address microaggressions professionally while also protecting your peace and not losing your job. And then too, in your day-to-day life, emotional intelligence can help you navigate your challenges with grace while also keeping your mental and emotional health intact. So let's get into the rest of these clips on how to improve your emotional intelligence, and stay into the end because I will go into how to look out for triggers that may knock you off emotionally and additional tips to stay in control emotionally.
How do you become an emotional intelligent woman? Number one, mind your business and not someone else's. And I really mean that. Mind your business. Emotional intelligence is all about the things that you can handle and not bringing on additional stress in your life. So as long as you focus on you and not minding your business, that helps a lot. Number two is thinking about the destination that you want to have in your life. And as you're thinking about the destination you have in your life, you have to understand that there's going to be pressure along the way, and being able to walk through that pressure and the things that may normally have you stuck and have you not moving forward. You start thinking beyond what's happening right now, but what it is that you want for your future.
Knowing what I know now as a psychotherapist, here's what I would do differently if I was starting from scratch and learning how to control my emotions better. Without a doubt, the number one thing I would focus on doing is cutting off those negative thought spirals. You know what I'm talking about. When something bad happens, we get stuck ruminating about the situation. We think over and over and over again about what happened, what could have happened, what should have happened, what we should have said back to them after they said that one thing. But the thing is, these ruminating thought cycles, that's what riles up our emotions, not the situation itself. So in order to control the emotions, we just need to stop having the thoughts that's creating them. I already know somebody on here going to be like, easier said than done. That's because you haven't practiced it. Try this. One strategy I use with my clients is I spy, but you're doing it with all of your senses. So you're basically just pointing out 5 things you can see, 4 things you can hear, 3 things you can feel, 2 things you can smell, 1 thing you can taste. And it helps you redirect your thoughts and calm down your sympathetic nervous system. Try it. I go over many other techniques in the Self-Care Starter Kit, but like and comment if this was helpful.
And if you're multitasking right now, come back to the screen because on the next clip, Kelly shows a really good visual representation on emotional intelligence training. So please follow along.
Let's do some emotional intelligence training together. Okay, so over here on the left-hand side, we have the more painful emotions from boredom down to despair. And then on the right-hand side, we have the more positive emotions from contentment up to bliss. Everybody wants to hang out on the right-hand side every second of their life for the rest of their life, but that's not realistic. We are going to feel emotional pain. And so step 1 with emotional intelligence training is to validate and allow and feel the negative emotions. As you validate and allow the negative emotions, you bring an acceptance which creates a dissolution and a dissipation of that emotion. Remember, emotion is energy in motion. If you're feeling pain right now, say for example you're feeling anxiety, validate your anxiety, allow your anxiety, accept your anxiety. You can say something like this: I'm feeling anxious right now. It's okay, it's okay. I validate my anxiety, I allow my anxiety, I bring acceptance to my anxiety. By doing that, you bring a higher frequency into the lower frequency and you create a dissipation. Okay, so that's step one. Step two is know that your emotional pain comes from judgment and resistance. If you are over here, from boredom down to despair, you are judging within your mind either yourself for your past actions, somebody else for their past actions, or the external world. You are wanting to change something within self, others, or the external world to feel better. So just know that. And third, release the attachment, release the judgment. Allow things to be as they are. This creates more of an acceptance and bringing you over here on the emotional scale. You can do that via turning the thought around into the opposite, such as, if you're judging yourself for past actions, I feel guilty about something I did in the past. Turn it into the opposite. I forgive myself for my past actions. I was doing the very best I could at that moment. Lastly, focus on bringing your energy back to yourself, back to your heart, back into the now, and aligned with the universe, as opposed to bringing your focus in a judgmental way towards self, others, external for the past. Align your focus to your heart, yourself, the now, and within the consciousness of the universe. As you do so, you will align with the right-hand side. Hope this video helps you guys.
When we have a conversation about emotional intelligence, it always and almost immediately gets steered into romantic relationship. Emotional intelligence, before it's for anyone else, is for self.
For self.
If you are thorough with how you know you and how you operate, then you start to understand how you relate to other people, things, and places around you. Even before y'all get intimate, you understand how much space you take up. You know what I'm saying? And when you understand how much space you take up, you don't go anywhere that you don't think you could fit. You know your measurements, you feel me?
Facts.
People don't know how much space they take up, big or small. I'm not saying it's any type of appropriate space. So you get into this relationship with this person and you don't even know your own seasons, let alone that other person's. So you start thinking changed or that they done did this when you don't know that it's you that's shifting the entire time. It's been you, and it's not a bad thing. It's that you just haven't tracked the patterns in your life, because we all have them. And until you know your patterns and your seasons, bruh, there is no way for you to start tricking your mind and hacking your, you know what I'm saying? You have to have some type of self, like, you don't have to have done all the work, but most people not even self-aware in the relationship. All they know is just performance, performance. You can't teach.
But that's a good point, because if you
that
don't have the awareness of self, you won't have social awareness.
The reason why emotional intelligence is so important is because somebody that is emotionally intelligent and sound understands what is happening inside of them. They understand and they're aware of the emotions that are coming up within them. And when they understand what's coming up inside of them, they're not reactive. Instead, they allow those emotions to process, they allow themselves to feel them, and then they're able to have a conversation with you about what they're feeling versus getting into defense or attack mode. When you're dealing with someone that is not emotionally intelligent, what you're actually dealing with is a wounded human being. Someone that is wounded in the version of themselves, and someone that is living as the child version of themselves that is still wounded. So every reaction, every discussion, everything, if it leads to an argument or a fight or a disagreement, it's because they're being defensive, because they were wounded as a little boy and as a little girl, and they never healed that part of them. They never healed that story, and they're still living out that story today.
Here are 7 practical tips to help you master the art of emotional intelligence. The first step to mastering your emotions is to bring a high level of self-awareness to it, because you cannot truly master what you aren't aware of. So get to know your emotions for what it is, no matter how good or bad you think it is. Take back control of your life and start healing from all of the traumas and bad experiences you went through as a child. When you find yourself in a triggering situation, start an internal dialogue within yourself that helps you control your response to the situation, so that you're responding appropriately instead of just reacting. Master the art of holding yourself back from reacting and maintain a state of calm while taking the time to process the situation logically. Have a high level of understanding and empathy for yourself and others. This will help you stop being overly critical and harsh to yourself and them as well. Develop a good interpersonal and social skills and learn to communicate your thoughts, ideas, and feelings things intelligently. And when in doubt as to how to respond to a triggering situation, remember, silence is always the best answer.
A lot of people aren't emotionally mature enough to hear something that they don't agree with without feeling triggered. Emotional intelligence involves you being able to hear things, whether it's criticism, whether it's fact, that you don't agree with, that you don't align with, and still being able to hear it and receive it and say, hey, I wonder why that person thinks like that. Or let me try to understand more about what this person is saying, as opposed to blabbing out whatever I'm blabbing out. At this point, right, being triggered and feeling triggered, you're not really doing the emotional work to overcome that traumatic, those traumatic experiences.
I want to talk to you about emotional intelligence in the workplace and how it's beneficial to individuals as well as organization. Emotional intelligence, or better known as EQ, refers to our ability to recognize, control, and manage our emotions, as well as the emotions of others. In the workplace, emotional intelligence plays a crucial role in enhancing communication, collaboration, and conflict resolution, which ultimately leads to better decision making and increased productivity. One of the key benefits of emotional intelligence is that it improves collaboration in the workplace. When individuals are able to understand their own emotions as well as recognize the emotions of others, they're better equipped to build strong relationships with their colleagues. This allows them to work more effectively as a team and achieve whatever goal they have set out to achieve together, efficiently and effectively. Emotional intelligence also plays a very critical role in conflict resolution. In any workplace, conflict is bound to arise, and when they do, emotions can run really high. However, persons with a high EQ are better able to manage their emotions and respond in a calm and rational manner. This will allow you to be better able to find a mutually beneficial solution and prevent conflicts from escalating. Finally, emotional intelligence is crucial in decision making. When you're able to recognize your own emotions, you'll be able to think critically and objectively about complex problems. Overall, in conclusion, emotional intelligence is a critical skill to have in the workplace. By improving collaboration, conflict resolution, decision making, emotional intelligence can help individuals as well as organizations achieve their goals more effectively and efficiently.
7 signs someone is emotionally intelligent. Number 1, they know how to genuinely apologize. Emotionally intelligent individuals understand the importance of taking responsibility for their part of the problem. Number 2, they show true empathy. Emotionally intelligent people have the ability to empathize genuinely. They're able to put themselves in other people's shoes and understand their experiences and emotions. Number 3, they are humble. Humility is a key trait of emotionally intelligent people. They do not boast about their achievements. They can appreciate their successes quietly. Emotionally intelligent people do not require much external validation. Number 4, they reflect on their thoughts and emotions. Emotionally intelligent people engage in something that is known as metacognition, where you think about your thinking. This allows them to understand the reasons behind their emotions. Number 5, they understand other people's worldviews. Despite differences in perception, emotionally intelligent people are able to appreciate other people's viewpoints. They're able to recognize that everyone sees the world through their own lens. Number 6, they offer genuine praise. They're able to feel genuinely happy for other people's successes without succumbing to jealousy. And number 7, they can accept when they're wrong. A hallmark of emotional intelligence is acknowledging that you make mistakes.
I really hope you found value in those clips. And as I always say, take what you need and leave the rest on the floor. And if you've been living on planet Earth, then you already know how everything around you is starting to feel triggering. It's like every time you turn around, someone is trying to disrupt your peace, either through the news or social media, or even in the workplace. You might have a coworker make a slick comment or your partner dismissing your feelings. Being emotionally intelligent helps you identify your triggers without letting them derail you. And sometimes you may not even realize you are overstimulated or triggered. It could be by other external factors like noise, temperature, or your environment, which is causing you to snap off on people or be irritable. So instead of reacting in the moment, do your best to pause, breathe, and decide how you want to respond. I also want to encourage you to surround yourself with other people who are doing their inner work. And when you both are practicing emotional intelligence, you'll start to notice that your communication improves. But let me also just clarify that emotional intelligence is not just about being calm or composed all the time. Emotional intelligence also teaches you when to walk away from situations that could harm you physically or emotionally. And when you don't have awareness of your emotional intelligence, you could risk making decisions based on feelings and not facts. This might look like you staying in a toxic relationship longer than you should, or believing that you can fix someone. And I'm guilty of that too. I've stayed in multiple relationships past their expiration date because of the hope of things getting better and not trusting the patterns and red flags that were already there. And also at work too, you might be on the brink of burnout, trying to prove yourself to people who are always going to choose the other person for that position anyway. So the previous clips gave several different examples on how to build your emotional intelligence. And I have a few more points, and just remember that you don't have to apply all of this information. Take what you need and leave the rest on the floor. So apply what you can to your specific situation. So with that being said, here's how you can strengthen this skill. With most things in life, it starts with self-awareness. And you'll want to ask yourself, how do I feel in this moment? What's driving this emotion? Journaling can help you flush out your thoughts, as well as talking to a therapist, a coach, or a mentor. Next, practice empathy. And to be clear, empathy isn't about excusing bad behavior. It's understanding what motivates people so you can navigate situations with clarity. So for example, say that you have a difficult coworker that might be acting out because of her own insecurities. Knowing that doesn't mean you tolerate her disrespect, but it does give you the upper hand in handling and responding appropriately. And set your boundaries. Emotional intelligence is also about protecting your peace. You don't have to explain every no or overextend yourself to people who wouldn't do the same for you. And then lastly, manage your emotions. This doesn't mean suppressing your emotions. You are allowed to feel every emotion on the spectrum, okay? But emotional intelligence will help you navigate your feelings in a way that serves you. And in relationships, emotional intelligence lets you identify red flags early. If your partner dismisses your boundaries or plays on your insecurities, that's your red flag and your cue to reassess this person's position in your life. Relationships should add value to you and not drain you. And at work, emotional intelligence helps you navigate power dynamics. If someone undermines you, stay calm, address the issue directly, and document everything. Emotional intelligence isn't about staying quiet. It's about responding in ways that protect your integrity and your position. And by having emotional intelligence, you can avoid situations that compromise your safety or your peace of mind. And that might mean walking away from a heated argument or declining an invitation that doesn't feel right to you. Emotional intelligence keeps you safe physically and emotionally. And I feel like if you can master emotional intelligence, you can take control of your own narratives and you protect yourself and create spaces where you can thrive and feel safe. So share with me in the comments any takeaways you have or any stories you want to share. Also, check out my free life audit worksheet that will help you assess and improve 8 key life areas so you can create more balance in your life. And before you go, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like and share this video, and I'll see you in the next video.